Cloud Dancer, Pantone's color of the year for 2026. What do you think about it? Today we're going to dive into all of the color trends released by the paint companies, and I'll share with you what I think about the color of the year. As a lover of bold, beautiful color, my opinion just might surprise you. I thought it was fitting to film this outdoors today, since you're going to see a little theme threaded throughout all of these color trends. A warm, nature-inspired, grounding theme amongst all of the color trends. Since this channel is all about inspiring you to be creative with color in your homes, let's talk about how these color trends can inspire you and how we possibly could use some of them in our homes to keep them fresh. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I want to know your opinions and your thoughts of all of these color palettes. So let's dive in. So Valspar's color of the year, warm eucalyptus. It is very similar to the color I'm wearing right now. They describe it as naturally restorative and serene, which I think that's a good explanation of what it is. Is it necessarily new and exciting? Not quite as much, but I think it can be done really beautifully. So you can use it in very interesting ways. For example, on kitchen cabinets, it would look absolutely gorgeous on either maybe in a scullery or laundry room as well, or maybe taking it to your doors. I think that would be you have a really neutral color palette. Adding some green doors would be absolutely beautiful. It'd bring in a little more of that nature and add a little interest to your home. Or take it to your baseboards and around your doors. That would work beautifully as well. We may have seen this color for a couple of years now. You see it around quite a bit. It also was around maybe in the late 90s. My color palette may or may not have been this exact shade of green way back when. Believe it or not, it hasn't always been bold and blue. When I first got married, my set of dishes that I got was actually the false craft pattern with the gardening tools around the edges and leaves and whatnot. So yes, it's been around for a while. It's around again, but it's still quite beautiful and quite timeless. It's very grounding. It's very warm and very nature inspired. Okay, Sherwin-Williams color of the year is universal khaki. Exciting, right? Not so much. Beautiful? Yes. And I have a couple of ways that I think we can make this really interesting. It's warm. It's earth toned. It's universal, just like a khaki pair of pants. Now, two ways we can make this really interesting. You color drench your entire kitchen in this. Elegant, sophisticated, interesting. If you take it and pair it with some of the other colors in the color palette that they're suggesting, gorgeousness. If you pop it with a very saturated blue, like what's in the chair in this picture, or even the muted tones in the rug look absolutely beautiful. You know, the combination of the more saturated blue and the more muted blue makes things really interesting in a room. But if you had kept them all in the same color plane, that's a very calming, serene, very beach-like even tones that you could have depending on the feel you wanted in your home. Again, universal khaki. Quite universal. I thought that salmony, terracotta, peachy toned color was very interesting with it as well. As you can see with this chair, this pop of color in this chair, it just makes that khaki come alive and takes it from boring into something really interesting. So that's just a couple of ways that you can take that color and make it come alive. Benjamin Moore's color of the year is Silhouette. It's a distinctive burnt umber with charcoal undertones. It's warm, nature-inspired, and grounding. Their inspiration was classic suiting. So think of the fabrics of a nice charcoal suit or a nice burnt umber suit. You have or a tweed that has the blend of the browns and the blacks and grays in it. That is Silhouette. This color can be quite exciting. A very warm, nature-inspired, grounding, neutral, but it is such a saturated color that you could take that to your dining room ceiling. You could take that in a small powder bath. You could take that to a vanity, say, in your bathroom or even your kitchen island, and it'd be really interesting. You add that with pops that are in the rest of the color palette, and oh, it just comes alive. I personally am really looking at the batik or batik. I don't know how you say that, but I'm looking at that maybe for my bedroom because I'm looking for a very calming, serene look in my bedroom, but with pinks and maybe some light greens, maybe a little bit of this sage green color. Who knows? But something warm, cozy, inviting. And you could do that with a lot of these colors that pair with it as well. They've paired it with their very famous Swiss coffee, which is absolutely gorgeous with it. It's a nice creamy white, but enough lightness to it that it gives you a nice stark contrast. You're going to see again that peachy, salmony, terracotta kind of color as well. And that, again, if you paired that with maybe some universal khaki and some of the Swiss coffee, it just makes things look so interesting and makes that warm, neutral color palette just kind of come alive a little bit. Just adding a little bit of interest. Now let's talk about Bear's hidden gem. It is scrumptious. Something that I noticed as I was doing some research, what they were predicting was a dark teal. And I think that's where Bear took their inspiration from. And they went with this beautiful, silvery, a little more muted, deep teal, which if you've been around here, you know, is my color, right? Mine's a little more saturated, but this tone of it is absolutely gorgeous. And I would absolutely love, I think this is a very sophisticated, very, I find it very neutral, in my opinion. I know there are several tones that go with this color. You can go more of the orangey in the warms and the salmons, or you can go with a softer pinks or even some lighter blues, you know, shades of that color throughout your home. Khaki, again, universal, would look scrumptious with it. As you can see in the inspiration photo that they have on their website, the couch, that almost light camel color with the hidden gem, is absolutely scrumptious. Just that warmth and that coziness that it would give a room would be absolutely gorgeous. I could see many places where you pair it with a nice bold wallpaper. Absolutely gorgeous. I say bold, but a nice dark, moody kind of wallpaper. Again, use it in interesting ways. So say you have a more neutral home and you just want to add a little bit of this trend. Add it to some baseboards and around a doorway. Add it to some of your interior doors. Add it to some of the pillows you put on your couch. Add it to some of the artwork that you put throughout your home. That just adds that a little more interest, a little more, it's still neutral and it's still calming and it will still be serene, but just add that little more interest that sometimes these neutral color palettes are really needing, in my opinion anyways. Again, you're seeing that salmony peachy terracotta color that you could pair with it. The golds, the even some lighter blues, and there are just so many options that I feel this is just my favorite. And it's probably because, you know, it's my color, right? But is it interesting? Yes. Does it light me up? Sure. But I've been there, done that. So to me personally, it doesn't light a whole lot of fire. It makes me go, I was right. I love the color. I told you it was an awesome color. Now I'm glad someone else agrees with me. That's all this is. Okay, my overall opinion. They are nature inspired. They are warm. They are grounding. They all work beautifully together. That's because every paint company kind of chose very similar color tones. So they all work beautifully together. They all could be popped with other very interesting colors to make them fabulous. But are they a trend? I'm not really sure. The definition of a trend is a direction in the way something is going. Well, this train's already been leaving. This has already been the trend that's been coming for a while. We've been going to warmer neutral tones. We've been going to warmer color palettes for quite several years, which is a good thing because I think we went through that gray and sterile for so long, or that stark black and white, that the warmness is really a good thing. I just would like to have seen something that kind of lit me up a little bit more, something a little more interesting, something we haven't really seen in a while, even if it's been a couple of decades, something that people wouldn't necessarily want in their homes, to be honest with you, something that would be unexpected, would be a trend to me. So, have they missed the mark? Not necessarily. I think we're in our cozy era, and that's perfectly fine. Me too. Look at me in my cozy today. That's perfectly fine. But hopefully next year they're gearing up for maybe something a little more interesting. And hey, that dark teal, I don't think was so far off, because where they were predicting that from was from the fashion shows. So they were seeing that color, as well as, I'll get to the Pantone color of the year in just a second. They were seeing those colors out there and kind of being pushed. So maybe, just maybe, I'll actually be able to find some accessories with some teal undertones. Maybe, just maybe. Okay, now let's talk about Cloud Dancer. So when I first saw it, let's just say I wasn't particularly thrilled. To me, we were always taught in art class that white is actually the absence of color. But after reading the definition and the explanation as to why they picked this color this year, it's a cleansing palette. It's a reset. It's a rest. It's a completely blank canvas. It's a place for us, especially this time of year, a time to reset, a time to gear up for what's to come. And that excites me. So overall, astonishingly enough, Cloud Dancer doesn't really upset me. I'm not that upset with it. Can you believe, of this lover of bold, beautiful color, I'm not upset with it. I'm really not, because I feel like, I don't think it's a trend we need to stay in. I think it's interesting for the moment, but by spring, I hope to be seeing a few more colors thrown in there. I expect some paint to be thrown on that canvas. We can't live in a blank canvas forever. We can't live in complete, rest and reset forever. But am I mad about showing some quietness in this super noisy world? No, I'm not. I'm actually in the time of my life that's where I am. I've removed social media from my phone. I've, eliminated things that were stressing me or just too noisy in my life. I've become, surprisingly enough, as a maximalist, I've actually minimalized quite a bit. Simplify was something that came up in every prayer this last year. So, am I mad at Cloud Dancer? Not necessarily. It is also, yes, it's white, but it does have just the very, 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 very slight hint of yellow. So it is a slightly warm white. Not very much, but slightly warm white. So it's quite universal. It's something we can use as an accent. I myself, in all of this room open space where I have different colors or different shades of the same color going throughout room to room, I've made it all white so that there's a blank canvas. There's a place for our eyes to rest. There's a place for the other colors to really come alive. And that's what Cloud Dancer is. It's a reset. It's a blank canvas for other colors to come alive. And honestly, think of it from the perspective of it's a place for you to explore, where it's not them telling you what to explore, if that makes sense. It's a place where you can kind of rest your mind and think of what colors you would want to add to this white canvas. So I hope that's helpful to someone, that trends are trends. They come, they go, right? Most of these are timeless. So take with it what you will. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. Let me know what you think about these different color palettes from these different companies. Would you use any of the more saturated, bolder colors? Would you keep to just a completely calm, serene color palette? What do you use in your home? I want to know. Bye-bye, y'all. I hope you have a absolutely amazing 2026. And I hope that you use this time to reflect and rest and explore all the wonderful colors that are available to you.